A year like no other, the new normal we're living and what we've overcome since last March. Plus, backing Bessemer, the boost in support for Amazon workers to unionize. And the Alabama Crimson Tide with another big win on the hardwood. Next up, the SEC championship game against LSU.
Now on WVTM 13 News at 10.
I am now issuing a state of emergency for our state of Alabama.
Tonight, it's been 1 year since Governor Kay Ivey declared that state of emergency after the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in Alabama. March 13th also marks a year since former President Donald Trump declared the coronavirus outbreak a national emergency. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff Eliasoff. In the past year, we've certainly learned a lot as our lives were turned upside down because of the coronavirus pandemic. Schools, churches, businesses put on hold. Now, many have reopened, but still at only a fraction of their capacity. The state saw an explosion of cases since that first one last March. To date, more than 503,000 Alabamians have battled COVID-19. Another 10,000 tragically did not make it. State Health Officer Dr. Scott Harris says cases and hospitalizations in our state are now the best they've been since Memorial Day. That's in part because of the efforts underway to prevent COVID-19 infections and deaths. Like vaccines, a year later, 3 COVID-19 vaccines are on the market. Pfizer and BioNTech getting their first emergency use authorization from the FDA, with Moderna shortly after, and most recently, Johnson & Johnson. At last check, more than 120,000 doses were administered in Alabama just this week. The state started distributing doses in December of last year and has since administered more than 1.2 million. Dr. Harris praising the state's work yesterday.
I think it's worth considering how amazing it is that here, even just shy of 1 year, we've already vaccinated over 760,000 people here in our state with at least one shot, and that's an amazing amount of work done by an amazing group of people.
UAB has been on the front lines of the pandemic for the past year. One of its leading specialists, Dr. Michael Sag, he contracted COVID-19 in the early days of the pandemic. Dr. Sag was one of the first doctors in Birmingham we spoke with who was not only looking at the pandemic as a physician, but as someone fighting it himself, quarantined in his bedroom. Now, a year later, Dr. Sag also amazed at the ground we've covered during the pandemic.
I am becoming hopeful, absolutely. I think it's really because the light at the end of the tunnel was the vaccine and not an oncoming train. And so that was our Christmas miracle. And for people who wonder if miracles ever happen in our lifespan, yes, they do. And this was one.
That is optimism. Dr. Sag says one of the biggest challenges ahead is making sure we continue to do things like wear masks and social distance until this pandemic is fully behind us. The statewide mask order will remain in effect for another 4 weeks. Leaders pushing for Alabamians to continue wearing face coverings in public after the governor's order expires on April the 9th. Birmingham City Council President William Parker says the city is discussing whether to implement its own mask mandate.
The city will take action. The council will take action in conversations and consultation with the mayor and our law department. We will take action.
The council will likely vote on a citywide mask ordinance on April the 6th. WVTM 13 will follow this story every step of the way. We are 9 days away from seeing more Alabamians get their COVID-19 vaccinations. The state is preparing to expand its distribution phase to 1C starting March 22nd. Those included in phase 1C, people 55 and older, people 16 to 64 with high-risk medical conditions, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and critical workers who were not included in phase 1B, like food services, transportation and logistics, waste management, public safety, legal, and many more. The additional priority groups will add more than 2 million Alabamians to the eligible list. So you're eligible or about to become eligible for the vaccine. What's next? Well, you'll need to schedule or register for your appointment. There are different ways you can do this depending on where you live here in Alabama. One option, through the Alabama Department of Public Health. Head to alabamapublichealth.gov and fill out the form there. If you don't have internet access, you can set up an appointment through the state's hotline. The number on your screen, 855-566-5333. There's a different way for Jefferson County residents. If you live or work in this county, you can pre-register with them at jeffcoema.org. A hotline also available, and now the number is also on your screen. The hotline 205-858-2221. UAB Hospital also offering the COVID-19 vaccine. Go to uabmedicinevaccine.org, fill out your name, address, and insurance provider. You can expect an email afterwards telling you they got your registration. Select Walmart, Sam's Clubs, and CVS pharmacy locations offering COVID-19 vaccinations. You can find a clinic and make an appointment on their respective websites. Moore's Pharmacy in Birmingham is offering the Johnson & Johnson single-dose COVID-19 vaccine. Ranger Care is located inside the pharmacy. Owner Sheila Fells tells us Moore's is registering patients through its online portal. Fells says the portal is a waiting list, so if someone cancels an appointment, your name would move up. To register for your spot, visit rangercare.health. If you don't have internet access, you can make an appointment in person at Moore's Pharmacy. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturdays 9 until 3. Whichever way you register for an appointment, state health leaders say be sure to cancel the other appointments when you get your time. You can find more details about vaccination registration right now on the WVTM 13 app, including how-to videos. There's a new vaccination site for what's considered an underserved area of Birmingham. Alabama Regional Medical Services began vaccinating people at its North Birmingham clinic this morning. City leaders say they plan to save lives by getting out in the community, educating people on the vaccine and why it is a good thing.
I said, let's get shots in the arms and let's just move this community along, because so many people were not able to make it today. We're over 500,000 people did not make it today. So we're here to save lives.
The clinic also took time today to remember all those lost to COVID-19 so far. As health leaders strive to increase vaccinations, many folks are still hesitant about getting them. This includes educators. Not all teachers in our area have been quick to get vaccinated, even though they've been eligible for several weeks. The Central Alabama American Federation of Teachers says only 40 to 50% of teachers have chosen to get vaccinated thus far. The vaccine isn't required for teachers, but it does add a major level of protection.
I actually spoke to a teacher last week who said that this 1 year has felt like 8 years. She said it just is so difficult because teachers are expected to teach their students who are in person and their students who are virtual.
The goal is to have most districts back to 5-day-a-week in-person learning by August. The U.S. hit a new record of COVID-19 vaccine doses given in a single day, more than 2.9 million doses on Friday. CDC data show more than 1 in 10 people in the U.S. are now fully vaccinated. They've had both shots. There's still some hesitancy when it comes to the vaccine, and not just in minority communities.
We are seeing vaccine hesitancy, really, as the pharmacists and I were talking about, Macon South. And a lot of that's dealing with white Republicans, quite honestly.
President Biden has directed every state to make all adults eligible by May 1st. Some Americans are already seeing extra money in their bank accounts. Millions more should expect a stimulus payout within the next few days. John Lawrence breaks down the changes in this, the third stimulus payment.
Good afternoon. President Joe Biden says the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 will give the COVID-stricken U.S. economy a much-needed boost.
It changes the paradigm. For the first time in a long time, this bill puts working people in this nation first. It's not hyperbole, it's a fact.
Direct deposits are going out first, with $1,400 for eligible people who make less than $75,000, heads of households who earn less than $112,500, and married couples who bring in less than $150,000.
And you have kids under the age of 6, you will get an additional $3,600 over the next year. And if you have kids aged 6 to 17, you will get an additional $3,000 per child over the next year. And of course, for unemployment, that $300 per week extra will continue until September 6th.
The IRS will base the amount sent out on either 2019 or 2020 tax returns.
You really need to sharpen your pencil up here this weekend if you haven't done your taxes and ask yourself, did I make more income in 2019 or 2020? Did my marital status change?
Critics of the plan say the $1.9 trillion package is too costly.
We're doing damage to the future of this country by spending dramatically more money than we obviously need.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The stimulus payments cut off people who earn $80,000 or more per year and married couples who bring in $160,000 or more, regardless of the number of children that they have. Now, starting Monday, people can learn the status of their payments by going to the IRS Get My Payment online tool. Get more information on how to track their stimulus payment, whether you qualify, and updates to vaccine efforts in the state, all on the WVTM 13 app. Find it under the coronavirus tab of the main menu. The push to unionize the Amazon fulfillment center in Bessemer continues. Today, the Black Lives Matter movement led a caravan to the warehouse to encourage workers to vote yes. WVTM 13's Sarah Killian tells us why Black Lives Matter and others are supporting a union.
Outside the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Bessemer, a caravan of cars waving signs and honking horns, hoping to convey one message.
Union now, union later, and union forever.
Right now, workers at the Amazon warehouse in Bessemer are voting on whether or not to unionize. The Black Lives Matter movement organized this caravan because they say employees are being treated as disposable and are not given the respect they deserve.
Those people who go to that fulfillment center every day, they need to see our representation.
Several other organizations joined in on the caravan, along with individual community members who wanted to show their support for a union.
I support what people think their needs are to provide for their families. They're looking to the future for their children.
Signs everywhere indicating the ongoing vote here at the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Bessemer. While many organizations and community members came out to show their support for the union, there are some workers here that are speaking out against it.
Let me state this clearly. I'm not against unions. I'm just against the union here at Amazon at this location, BHM. You know, Amazon is a great place to work. They have so many benefits, you know, that a lot of employees are just not taking advantage of.
The vote to unionize this Amazon Fulfillment Center continues until the end of the month. In Bessemer, Sarah Killian, WVTM 13.
New tonight, Governor Kay Ivey hosting the Magic Moments Easter egg roll at the governor's mansion. The second time the governor has served as host of this wonderful event. Magic Moments was founded to bring happiness to children in Alabama diagnosed with chronic, life-threatening illnesses. Social distancing was practiced and masks were worn by everyone over the age of 2. Long hauler beating COVID-19 but still working to regain strength. A local woman's fight tonight. You're watching WVTM 13 News on a Saturday. This is the last night of Standard Time. Set those clocks ahead 1 hour before you go to sleep.